What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me, as always, is little brother Jace. We had lots of turkey, although not together this Thanksgiving. How's everything on your end?
Doing good. Still need to get rid of the holiday pounds, but I'm all right. I'm good.
Yes, I got sick, so I got rid of them a different way.
I'm
Yeah,
good. No bueno.
not so good. But so far, The Flash has not made me question why I'm watching the show. I'm happy about that. Armageddon has definitely felt like a major, serious bait and switch. We're going to put all these heroes together. Well, actually, they're just going to be on one episode at a time. And Flash is going to interact with them for about 20% of that episode. The rest of it's going to feel like a Flash episode, and you should be happy with that. And so far, we've had Adam show up the first episode. That was great. I feel like Brandon Roth needs to be in something. Preferably not Legends, because Legends is basically unrecognizable at this point. And episode 2 of this crossover had Super Alex, but she was just on a video screen, so she really got shafted on the cameo episode. Then episode 3, we got the guy who I was very much looking forward to see as a part of this, Black Lightning. So this third episode that came on, I feel like the writers still have no clue what they're doing with Despero. He's either a super bad villain who's killing or doesn't care about killing, or he wants to preserve the honor of his people and save the world before Flash ruins everything.
Uh, Maybe. I guess that's the best answer I got. I was glad. I mean, I don't actually think it was so much a bait and switch because how the third episode went, they had all of the characters. I mean, all the people who were supposed to be in the crossover show up, and then they're kind of going to expand their role as it goes on in episode 4 and 5. And they also made it so I don't know if you watched the last season of Black Lightning, but I think that was more of Cress Williams than I saw in a whole episode of Black Lightning last year. So I was cool with that. I mean, I thought it was a Thunder and Lightning show, but I mean, they obviously were like, oh yeah, he's the actual star, supposedly star of the show.
We named
Cool.
the show after him. I guess we should pop up every so often. I was really
Other show.
happy to see him because he's really good. And I feel like this was the first time we've seen them actually make use of characters whose shows are being canceled and bring them into the fold. It was really cool just seeing him in his outfit. And then, we'll save the whole Black Lightning Flash arc for the end because that was definitely the best part. But I think they did some really interesting things. We're having Cecile and Irish clash about Joe's maybe not so death. And I really, really want to get sucked into the drama because I felt like Danielle Nicolette and Candace Patton really acted that scene so strongly. It was like, oh man, it's great, it's emotional. But I'm like, you guys would never kill off a character as important as Joe and be like, oh yeah, that happened 6 months ago. I'm like, eh. And
But
then,
that's like a really kind of comic book thing to do. Like if a new writer picks up and then you see like kind of, oh okay, what happened, and then we tell the story. Even it's like we don't know if it could happen, especially as a character as big as Joe for the show. You're like, I mean, he was out of the season last year, and they kind of are losing original cast members. So maybe they do a storyline to kind of write off Joe, kind of as a homage, but we don't think so. So we're kind of like trepidatious. Like, will they? But
they could do that if this was season 3 or 4 of The Flash, where they haven't had so much of a foundation laid on how they kill off characters. This is season 8, and we know they could not do something like that without a twist or ha, I got you. And I feel like they're really being committed to the ha, we got you. And I think longtime Flash viewers are like, yeah, Joe's not dead, so let's get to the point of that. But I'm playing along with them because it's like, okay, at least you're not doing something that's just so insultingly stupid. Like how everything's playing out is competent enough that I'm willing to go along with it, even though I have no suspense that Joe's actually dead.
yeah, but I mean, honestly, you get that scene between Iris and Cecile. like them actually at odds with each other. That was actually really good. So it's like you bought into it for the story. It was like, yeah, your mind is telling you Joe's not dead, but like at least the actors are performing it like he's dead. So it's like, all right. And that was what actually really got for me. I was like, okay, cool. Like y'all brought it on that scene. Like, good job.
Yeah. Now, so we get them split up. Allegra goes with Iris, and that makes sense. And then the C Squad of Chester, Cecile, and Caitlin. I was like, what is this? And then he's like, oh, you want me to do Cerebro? I'm like, stop it. Stop it. You guys have things in your own universe. Reference them, not the Marvel stuff. That would be like, AEW always mentioned in WWE. Or maybe it's the other way around because AEW is better than WWE. So it'd be like WWE always referencing AEW.
I mean, like, wouldn't you say, like, that's like, you want me to pull an Oracle? I mean, that would have been the easier way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, there's things in the DC universe that would actually work and make sense. Who do you think I'm?
You want me to be Brother Eye? Like, kind of throwing out, like, you might even want Brother Eye's, like, season 10 Flash, like, just in case.
You want me to pull a Mr. Terrific?
Whoa, Jeff, come on.
Sorry.
I did.
I deliberately didn't say Felicity. I don't know if you caught that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chester's big idea was to find this powered up gadget, but first Cecile has to recruit the Top. And I feel like the actress playing the Top thought she was in a totally different thing. Like, I was really confused with her performance. And I was watching the show with my wife on the couch right next to me. And I swear the scene when they were strapped up to that device, hooked up to their necks, that if she walked in, I was going to have a really I don't know, look at my face. Like, just look at the screen. Honest. It's all on board. But yeah, this is a bad sound. So yeah. It was really bad. I wish someone at creative control over there was like, maybe we should do this a different way.
I'm thinking a lot of that was in that part was like, anyone want to say anything? Just let it ride. We're okay. No one will say anything.
Give up your emotions, Cecile. Do it. Oh. I'm like, hey guys. Don't mind me. Just here to potentially raise a question that this
quality control. Hello.
Yeah, but it was.
Where are we?
It was funny, but also the Chester part where his grandma's TV had rabbit ears, and it was funny. The line, "What's that? Are those rabbit ears?" And then he was like, "Yeah, my grandma needs to get home at 7 to watch her soaps," and I'm like, "What? What?
No soaps on at 7.
There's no soaps on at 7. Also."
You can't use rabbit ears on any TV, and you are supposed to be so smart. You can do all this without rabbit ears. So why are there rabbit ears in 2020? And none of these people are actually old enough to actually know what rabbit ears are. They're supposed to be in their 20s, 30s. They've never seen rabbit ears.
They should not. I thought that was really... That was just a comical scene on so many levels. But the soap operas at 7 was what really got me. Because we watched soap operas with our grandma. And there was nothing at 7. It was Wheel of Fortune time and Jeopardy.
I mean, you get like... At 7 o'clock, you get the TV or soap network version of soap operas. And you don't have those on rabbit ears. So
yeah. It was weird. It's like... Are rabbit ears really the best way to channel anything? I mean, I kind of feel like they were barely able to get in stations, regular networks, and this is the way to channel to see where Flash is. And why didn't anybody just go, hey, maybe he's at the Hall of Justice?
I mean, that would have been the second place to go. He's not at Star Labs, so he actually owns that place, which should have technically been a place that the whatever reason he was under suspicion should have gone and seized already because he's the owner of that place. But
we'll just ignore that part because we never really established where the Hall of Justice is. So that's fine. Let me go back here with Iris first before we go on to the cool part. So Iris and Allegra are investigating this train accident where it looks like some video footage has been deleted very sloppily, and I thought this storyline was interesting, although 6 months later, I feel like Iris would have watched this at some point before 6 months.
I actually disagree because it's like you don't want to see. I mean, like especially that kind of tragedy. It's like your dad getting run over by a train. I don't think I want to see that. I mean, like I'll be like, if it happened, I'll believe it. Like I'm not. I don't need to investigate unless somebody tells me, hey, something shady may have happened.
I thought Kramer did say that.
No, Kramer was like, man, we're good. Move it on. Flash her under
That's
arrest.
how she got the flash drive, right?
I wasn't paying that much attention to
Oh,
Kramer,
okay.
honestly.
I mean, Kramer would have been like, hey, something's up. I don't know. I'm giving her a pass because there are things that's like, but it's okay enough that I'm not like nitpicking everything like I would like last season. So Iris is starting to see some energy trails. Allegra can't see it, but through the magic of Allegra's superpower, she's like, hey, look, there's a camera. And I bet it was recording.
See, it sounds like you're nitpicking. You're not supposed to be nitpicking, but it sounds like you're nitpicking.
It does.
Because I'm pretty sure your review doesn't say you're nitpicking like this, but you're nitpicking.
That was just funny because I always feel like they try so hard to give Allegra something to do, and it's just like,
hey man, she had flashing eyes, and you know,
I just wanted her to see the video trail of the stuff going. I mean, that would have been useful. Her seeing, hey, look, there's a camera. Iris is like, yeah, dude, my eyes work too. I see that little orb.
It's right there.
It's right there.
I mean, honestly, I thought as Allegra leveled up, I mean, she would have figured out everything.
Hey, listen, I did a level up count last night, 0. I was so proud of them. I was like, yes, you guys managed to do it. I think somebody at the writing room lost a bet. Can we write a script without saying leveled up? I did it.
Especially with Flash, I'm like, come on, you know you want to say level up. Come on, do it. It's a shot bet. Come on.
No, man, when Cecile and the top were talking, I was like, here it is. Here it comes. Cecile, your powers have improved so much.
Come on, do it.
Yeah, no, they held out. So we didn't get that. And Despero was wild. He was on the loose. And the third eye is just like, and I really thought that if the top was a dude, Despero would have killed the top. Especially when Top was like, hey, big boy, I will give you the information where Flash is and we can go kill him together. And then Cecile and everybody's like, oh no, she's almost dead. Let's help her. Maybe not.
Again, we've killed enough rogues, so probably don't need to, man or woman. I think that was probably more of what it was. And you know, maybe again at the end of the season we'll come up with a new rogues of all the leftovers and you know, make something.
Maybe they'll come up with dude versions of the rogues. So now we figured out Iris hollered at her son, the Still Force, Dion, to tap in and see what's going on with the Temporal Force. I actually like this because it actually tied into something where a character like Dion would make sense. And, you know, they didn't bring in everybody just to be like, hey, here's the whole rest of the game. But that was a good use. I'm not going to revisit this season just for that foolishness, but I like that they brought him back in a time that made a lot of sense. So then she sees that there was some evidence that somebody had messed with the timeline, screwed things up. We know it's not Barry. And so I'm like, okay. And we'll get to it, my reason why I was kind of hesitant about this, even though it made perfect sense. So Barry goes to Black Lightning and throws out the buzzword injustice. And I'm like, oh, okay. And this is, in case somebody goes haywire, somebody goes out of control, one member takes the other out. And Black Lightning is Flash's responsibility. They name drop Kara, Sarah, and John as the ones that came up with this injustice plan. They didn't mention Clark, but you see here in the picture, his Superman S is still in the chair, which means either somebody forgot to take it out or he is really still part of this Justice League, even though we're never going to see him again. And they didn't mention Batwoman, which was fine because she has no powers, so anybody could take her out. And it casually fixes the continuity issue of Batwoman being Kate Kane when they formed this. I personally was very excited when they mentioned, oh yeah, we came up with this injustice plan when we tangled with Faust. I'm like, Man, you know what I would pay to see on HBO Max? These guys, when all their shows get canceled, doing a straight up Justice League show. Because we had the jokey, haha, we don't care about Time Stream Legends team. But man, I would love to see Superman, even Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, Black Lightning, Flash, some Arrow or some other teaming up, doing the thing 2049. I'd much rather see him than Mia because this way we don't have to worry about pesky Mia continuity issues. Even though they seem like they fixed it. But I love the whole exchange with Barry and Jefferson, and those two match up really well. We saw that in the Crisis crossover, how well suited they are as a team. And Barry's going frantic. He's going wild. I can't figure out what's going on. They start fighting because superheroes always have to fight when they're teaming up. And Black Lightning was like, dude, what are you doing? Trying to throw lightning bolts at me? I was like, yes, that was great. So he caught it, threw it back. That was cool. And then Barry suckered him into taking him around the room really fast. They knock over the Green Arrow trophy case, and that snaps Barry out of it. That was really well done because we hadn't seen anything like that before. And they haven't done the whole pulling on the heartstrings of Barry with Oliver too much. So it wasn't this case of, oh boy, they're going back to this well. It was like, oh man, it really had meaning. Then Jefferson showed that he could relate as well with Henderson. So that was good stuff. And then Despero comes out, I don't care about your truths, I'm killing you. And then Black Lightning's like, dude, you have a third eye. That was awesome. Despero is so lame because he can stop by the smallest things, and he just zaps him in the third eye, and he's just stuck for so long. Dion and Iris come through. Hey Barry, there's actually something going on in Time Stream. Go to the future and figure out what's happening. What do you think about this whole deal with Black Lightning?
Hey, I mean, I said this like even after watching Black Lightning's last season, it was like he was not utilized in his own show, and then he comes in for basically 5 minutes to 10 minutes of Flash, and you're like, damn, I really wish they had actually made a show about this dude. I mean, he had some, actual stuff to do. I mean, I was expecting, after he got there, but Thunder and Lightning be like, hey, calm down, Dad, we got this one. It was like, okay, this dude actually should be on the Justice League versus his daughters who took over, whatever city I forgot he was from.
Freeland.
Yeah, okay. Canceled city, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, it once again showed you like he's a good character to keep around, and even if y'all want to have like more shows with him actually in there helping out Flash, okay with that too.
And they really could make a Justice League show, paired up with Flash, where he doesn't have to be a main member. There's enough cast off members from other shows that they could easily do it. They could do Martian Manhunter, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Vixen, Atom. Who else would be cool?
Well, let me say this.
Mr. Terrific.
If you watch the last season of Supergirl, which I know you're smart enough not to do, you can see why they don't want to do that. But also you could do it as like not having the super bad budget of Supergirl, but actually having it so it's actually a fun show. And Martian Manhunter does his I sit in the watchtower kind of deal, and Flash, and and take out some of the Allegra Zyrtec, and just have them actually be this Team Citizen class, and kind of run it how you remember the Batman animated show where the last seasons it went from just straight Batman, and then it went to a Justice League show. I think they could probably do that once they know they're like, all right, season 10 is going to be our last season of Flash. Let's do a Justice League, wrap it up.
I feel like they really could just do a whole different, like put it on HBO Max because they need more DC shows, and give it like a Stargirl Titans budget, and they'd be fine. There's so many of those really good CW stars. They could put Spartan on the team. There's enough that they could have like a rotating cast of Justice League members, and it would be just fine. So I really want to see that because it's good enough, and I think it would be a lot of fun to see. All right, so let's move on to another bit of news. But before we go and do that, let's bring in the main man himself. What's up, Chief? How you doing, man?
Great, I'm great, man. Great. It's good to see you all. You know, it's been a while. Thanks for having me back.
I mean, you're always welcome. You're part of the team. I mean, it's not like some deal we had to renew your contract for December 2021 and a brief extension before we really put it up for renegotiations in 2022.
Well, there was a point I hadn't been in church so long. I had to knock to get in.
Oh,
So I figured that, you know what I mean? It was pretty much, I was making sure I was still welcome here at the Lyles Movie Files podcast. And that it's wonderful that I am. Thank you.
absolutely. So someone else who's still very much welcome in the MCU is Colby Smulders. And she will be returning to the Disney Plus show Secret Invasion, starring Samuel L. Jackson. Skrull Invasion coming to the MCU. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's nice to see that Maria Hill is going to be in on the action, teaming up with Nick Fury to find out what's going on with all these Skrulls. How excited are you about this development, Chief?
So is that's kind of like a continuation sort of the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, so
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, continuation of that and Captain Marvel. So,
Okay.
we saw the
Yeah.
Skrulls,
So
they were good guys, but Secret Invasion, I would assume, is going to show that the Skrulls are not all good guys, and some have been infiltrating the MCU.
how dare they? Well, it's always good to see my man Samuel L. Jackson, man. I mean, damn, Sam's in his 70s now, isn't he?
He's getting a steady
Yeah.
paycheck from Marvel. I mean,
My man,
his agent was like, dude, and he was like, yeah, we're on it.
Yeah, so listen, anything with Samuel L. Jackson, I'm fine, and definitely anything with Kobe. So, yeah, I'm in. Hell, we're Marvel fanboys. We're not ashamed. So, I will be in attendance for this one.
Yeah.
You have to continue the story. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to, man. I'm looking forward to pretty much anything they're doing right now. I need content, so
Yeah,
it'll be
I don't
good.
want to spoil it for Jace, but this third episode of Hawkeye was incredible. And Hawkeye has been everything that I wanted from this show. And they have really knocked it out so far. And I just feel like Disney, Marvel Studios has this perfect partnership. Whether they're on TV, whether they're on the movies, it's just killing. They just keep delivering.
As long as if they had just put the what was it, the Eternals onto Disney Plus instead of a movie, they'd have been really happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think really that was the thing with Eternals. Like, if they just put it on a series and let it play out for 6 episodes, that would have worked a lot better. But yeah. So Kobe's there. Who else is there? Anybody else that you want to see pop up in Secret Invasion? Maybe as a Skrull, maybe as a surprise guest star. It shouldn't be a lot of
Captain Marvel,
superheroes.
right?
Huh?
We got to see Captain Marvel. The appearance from Captain Marvel at some point would be nice. He was supposed to be protecting the squirrels, right? I think that's why she flew off to find him a new home world and look after him.
Yeah, but that was in between. That was like the decade in between, or I guess almost 2 decades.
Decades.
Yeah, after from the 90s to 2012 when the Avengers popped up, and then an Infinity War, which I guess was actually set in 2019 for them.
Yeah, but I'm sure that she's 20 years. You made some friendships.
I don't know. We didn't necessarily get this sense that she's come back to Earth, because Nick still had the old school pager to hit her up. So I wasn't guessing that she was coming through getting the hot dogs and so forth. And
Well, I mean, but this is current, right? Current day, right? Or is this set?
Secret Invasion is set in the current day, but Captain Marvel hasn't really come back to Earth since Endgame and Infinity War post blip.
So how far is this from the blip?
We all
Post blip.
know. We'd assume like same deal like around that Spider-Man time frame. So
It's a year or two then.
yeah, maybe year 2, 3, whatever.
She may be in the area then. Could be a surprise visit. Could be a surprise visit by her. She could be in the area.
It could, but she's working on the old movie, the Marvels that's coming out soon too.
She about to drop something in?
Yeah, 2023, which I guess in another 30 days won't feel so bad. Oh man, 2023. But right now it still seems like a long way away.
It's gonna seem like a long way away in January too.
It probably.
I'm gonna be honest with you, but I wonder what they're going to do with her. How they're going to, she was even in, she was just so damn powerful. It's almost like what stops her? I mean, when she flew through Ronan's ship, what was that? She kind of reminded me of the Matrix at the end when he cracked Smith, the first one, cracked Smith, and then he looked up at him, and the other two agents ran off.
Yeah,
she kind of did that move to Ronan.
Yeah,
and he flew off, and I was like, yo, she's really, really powerful. Like, I didn't realize she was going to be, you know what I mean? And then, of course, with the end game, she kind of went up at Thanos. He swung something at her, and she caught it, or she punched him, and she caught his fist.
He caught him, he was about to punch her, he headbutted her, she's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you know what's gonna kind of bring her down is gonna be Rogue. Like, that's what's probably gonna get her, like, so she's not super duper. It's like we bring in Rogue and we start the X-Men and kind of go from there.
Yeah, that could be cool. Because I was like, yo, if you threw Thanos through a ship, non-powered, that probably hurt Thanos. So I was like, yo, she's kind of really, yeah. So they're gonna have to depower her in some sense. To I think in this storyline, she's gonna have to go, take it down about 75%, 60%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't want to have to introduce new villains that are even more powerful than Thanos, and then you keep running into a problem. Well, if it took all the Avengers and the Guardians to stop him, how are they going to beat this new threat? And they just can't be like, everybody attack him. It has to be something strategic. But Kang is probably one of those options for that villain, and he could do a lot of that stuff. It'll be very interesting to see where they go with that, because the face of the MCU is changing. New Captain America, new Black Panther.
So, old girl taking over the Black Panther, Siri?
It definitely seems like that now, because they were shooting World of Wakanda, then they had to take a hiatus because of Letitia Wright's injuries. And that would lead me to suspect that they're setting up the storyline for her to take over the reins.
Not too excited.
Not at all.
I don't know.
Chief, their poker face is amazing as always.
I don't want to.
You don't want to offend our viewership, but
not really. I mean, I offend them all the time. They're chiefy bastard. But I just I don't know. I just want it to be good, man. And not saying that she can't take the lead, but I just wanted this movie. I don't want another 1984. You know what I mean? Like the Black Panther, the first one was epic, and then and granted, my man, he's gone, and so like I said, I was just hoping that it's good, man. I don't want a DC mess up in this. And Black Panther was like, FUBU, forced bias. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. I know there's that concern because it was like so great and so epic, and it's just don't mess it up. And losing the lead definitely seems to set up a huge potential to mess it up. But everybody's still involved in it outside of course, Chadwick. So the hope is they just keep it going. There's comic book basis for her taking over the reins as Black Panther. They're definitely not shortchanging black characters in the MCU, although Black Panther is like my favorite, so it's going to be like, it sucks to not see him in the role and somebody fill in T'Challa's spot. But yeah, this is what it is due to circumstances out of anyone's control. So
Chadwick was a huge loss, bro.
Absolutely. So here is something else that I am very curious to get your take on. But first, Red Notice is the number one movie of all time in terms of viewership on Netflix. And just by the amount of original content on Netflix, I find that so fascinating. It beat out Bird Box, which has been the number one, basically since it debuted. But Red Notice is, I want to say Netflix first, absolutely unapologetic summer blockbuster film. Like it was catered to the summer audience crowd who's expecting a blockbuster. I felt like it delivered. It wasn't the best movie ever, but it was good because of the cast. And I was like, yeah, I can see this having sequels. And with this viewership, that's going to be huge. So what does this mean going forward for Netflix with what they do? And if we're just going to see them go, listen, we don't care about Hollywood. We're going to reach out to everybody. They got a movie with Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and some guy named Jonah Hill coming out. So those are big names. I think this is where we start seeing Netflix start going more of a less niche movie world and going straight for, we're going to come for those blockbuster properties. What do you guys think? But let's introduce Jay King to the mix.
What do I think about that, man? I watched the what was the name of that turd that Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer did for Netflix recently?
I didn't watch it. It was on my list, but I just decided not to.
Yeah, keep it up. Take it off your list. Keep up not watching it.
Yeah, it's not getting watched.
Jeff, y'all know, Chief, y'all know, we talked about this too, Chief, where we was like, it's a movie you want to like. You want to like this movie. You want to enjoy it because you like who's involved, right? And that's how I felt. It was like, all right, when is this going to be funny? When is this going to be enjoyable? When is this going to be funny? I just hope that, saying that to say this, I hope that that's not the case with these other Netflix movies. Because I'm going to tell you, when I saw Red Notice, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested. I wasn't interested. And that's got nothing to do with the fact that it's streaming. It's got nothing to do with the fact that it's not in theaters. It's just, when I looked at the trailer and all that, I was like, yeah, nah, not grabbing me.
Let me put it this way. Red Notice is exactly what you think. It's Dwayne Johnson being The Rock in any of his action movies. It's Ryan Reynolds being the snarky, sarcastic, quippy guy, and Gal Gadot just being Gal Gadot on the big screen. But she offers more personality than you've seen her from other roles.
I mean, let me say, listen, Gal Gadot has more personality in this movie than she did in Wonder Woman 84. I mean, I know that's a low bar, but
I mean, look it
has more personality in 1984. I could literally set a pet rock outside my house and talk to it and enjoy it more. All right, I'm done.
But look, haven't y'all seen everybody? That's not just us, that's everybody. You've seen The Rock be The Rock in everything he's done. You've seen Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds in everything he's done. And Ryan Reynolds has gone on a streak of making the same movie. I mean, certain actors, of course, we said this before, can get away with that. Ryan Reynolds ain't one of them.
I don't know. I kind of enjoy Ryan Reynolds' brand of humor. He's really sarcastic and pulls that off well. He's not trying to be too serious or too action duty. He's not trying to go for these dramatic Oscar deals. Like when I see him, I'm like, all right, he's going to make me laugh just because of his delivery of his lines. And if the lines suck, then he makes it better. But I don't feel like he makes the movie worse from his involvement as opposed to, say, a Jonah Hill.
No, he doesn't make the movie worse, and I disagree about that with Jonah Hill. I don't think that
I'm just
he makes the movie worse. Just from okay. I don't think he makes it worse. I just don't think that there's anything new. Like, for example, like a Paul Rudd. I can watch Paul Rudd be everybody and everything.
Okay. Are you really going to watch the one with him and Will Ferrell as the Shrink?
I'm not going out of my way. I'm not buying Apple Plus to watch it. But if it's on, you know what I mean? If it's one of those, if it's on, I'll check it out. With Ryan Reynolds, he's made a lot of movies that I might watch it if it's on, or I might just turn by and watch something else. I He's not a big enough to me. It's not one of those. He's not one of those actors that I'm gonna at least check it out because I know he's in it. You know what I mean? I'll check it out because I know he's in it. Certain actors have that for you. You'll watch something if Denzel's in it. You'll at least, even if it stinks, you'll at least turn it on and watch a few minutes of it before you decide, yeah, this stinks, and move on. Right?
So
Ryan ain't that guy for me.
I think the deal with Red Notice is it's the movie that you expect it to be. That has some twists, but it's the movie from the trailer. You know how it is, and I think
Yeah.
because it's like cinematic comfort food with a summer blockbuster feel. Nothing is that surprising, but it's good enough. It's like pizza, where it's like, yep, this will work. I need to watch a movie. This gets the job done, and also Gal Gadot.
It's Domino's, basically.
You know,
It's a little
back in the '90s, Domino's was hitting, but I don't know when they decided to change their menu. That's when I stepped off, and the Red Notice isn't something I step off on. It was like, all right, this is cool. I'd watch a sequel.
Yeah, like Red Notice is a good buddy comedy against a competent bad guy, and I think once you know that, it's like maybe it's not going to be on the level of like Last Boy Scout to you, but it'll be like if you're like cooking, you can watch scenes of it and still have a laugh, and you know, okay, I'm not missing anything. Oh, this might be a scene I rewind, but I'm going to enjoy it for the 90 plus minutes that it's on. And I'll be fine. If you have another sequel, I'll pick it up. I'll watch it. It's kind of like, it's better probably than that Charlize Theron Old Guard.
I like
Old Guard.
Guard.
I like the Old Guard. It was all right.
Yeah.
But Jason, you did not give that a glowing endorsement. You basically said, so if you're doing anything else and that movie's in the background, you might chuckle.
No, I know you because you can do 10,000 things at once. So it's like you'll enjoy. You're like, all right, maybe I'll sit down after I'm done and watch the movie after the first viewing and watch it, give it an actual chance.
Yeah, I've actually watched it twice because the in-laws wanted to watch it and it was on, and I wasn't like, oh gosh, I just saw this movie, and I see too many movies to willingly want to sit down and watch another one so soon after I've watched it before, unless I really love it. And I was fine watching it a second time. I laughed at the joints I was supposed to laugh at, and I knew it was coming this time, of course, but it didn't take away any enjoyment. It was like, you know what? This movie is one that you could watch whenever. Like, it's Netflix, so it's not like it's going to be on TNT every Thanksgiving or just because it's Friday. But it was fine. I watched it again, no problem, and I would have no problem recommending it to anybody. But I think we just might have a problem with this next one. So, Nicolas Cage, he's going to be starring in Reinfeldt. And Reinfeldt, if you're not familiar with the character, is tied in deeply to the Dracula lore. He is an ally, a servant of Dracula, and in this movie he's going to be played by Nicholas Hoult, Beast from the X-Men, Days of Future Past, etc., First Class, and he will be teaming with Awkwafina, so I know Jovon's all in now, and they're going to be trying to stop Dracula, who's played by one Nic Cage. This description of the movie is, it's a modern retelling, an adventure story, comedic in tone. How fast can you get off of watching this movie?
Jovon's watching this tomorrow if it's on. This sounds like a horrible movie. He's like got it queued up for his Netflix. Like, horrible movies. Nick Cage, sign me up.
Nah, dude. Awkwafina's,
hey, look, James,
Awkwafina's got him off.
I'm gonna tell you this about that. Just because Nicolas Cage is involved, I will watch. I will watch it just to trash it. I will watch that movie just to trash it. I'm interested because you put Nic Cage dressed up as Dracula, and you know he's gonna want to overdo it too. I have to see it.
The devil you say, sir. No chance.
He's gonna play Dracula to the.
He's gonna play Dracula so straight. He's gonna play it so straight. He'll be like, "Is this Nicolas Cage?"
Like, I picture Nicolas Cage as Dracula dressed up like Gary Oldman playing Dracula, but coming out to In the Garden of Eden, right? with blood on his teeth constantly. Like, yeah.
And they're like, "You got something on your teeth? Where? Where?"
Where is it?
Where do you see something on my teeth? Like being real Nicolas Cage with it. I would love to see this movie. I
Oh,
have to see it.
well, there you go. You called it correct, Jace. All right, Chief. How interested are you in watching this? And will it be as bloody as Mandy?
Yeah, I watch, man. I mean, it's a Dracula movie. It's supposed to be serious, right?
No, sir.
Oh, it's
Adventure
a
with a
comedy.
comedic tone. Comedic tone.
Then that takes a little sting out of it for me.
Does it take a little
Um,
bite out of it? Come on, Chief. It was right there for you.
yeah, no, I didn't want to use it. I didn't want. Yeah, I knew it. I grabbed it. I pushed it away. Um, yeah, that takes a little something from it for me. I don't like horror comedies in a sense of uh the main uh supernatural villains, werewolves, uh demons, vampires. I don't really like comedies of those type things. Like I want to when I go see a vampire movie, I want to go see a vampire movie. When I want to see a werewolf movie, I want to see a werewolf movie. I want to see a werewolf comedy movie. There can be comedy in it, as you know, scene wise, but I don't want to go and be like, yeah, you know what I mean. What's that? My man who used to always do the Naked Gun joints. He
Leslie
had a
Nielsen.
yeah, he had like a vampire movie. I never
Yeah.
saw it, but I didn't see it because of that reason. Um, I don't want to watch comedy horror or comedy. I don't know. It's something about it that just doesn't rub me right. I feel like I've wasted my time watching a movie about a guy who's supposed to be serious. I don't know. So yeah, that kind of takes it. Now, if it was a serious movie, I would have went and been like, yeah, I needs to see that. I needs it. But as a comedy, I wait for the review on Live Movies Files.
That's good stuff. Nice job. All right. Last news item for the night. Spider-Man No Way Home is dropping. People are paying thousands of dollars to get tickets because apparently they've sold through faster than Avengers Endgame. People really want to go out to see this movie. And we've seen the trailer. We've seen hints of Dr. Octopus. We've seen him. We've seen Green Goblin. We've seen Electro. Saw a big massive tease of Sandman. Maybe another glider figure. And this looks like it's going to be pretty amazing. And Sony's head, Amy Pascal, was like, yeah, we're not done with this Marvel thing, this Marvel partnership. And we've got a whole new trilogy of Tom Holland Spider-Man films set in the MCU. How excited are you about that news, Jace?
That's interesting news because I thought, I mean, again, I'm not all plugged in and all, but I thought that they kind of said they filmed Far From Home kind of is like the end of the Tom Holland.
No Way Home. I know it
No Way
sounds
Home.
like it seems like Far From Home should be this one, and I keep butchering them because Homecoming was only one, and then it was like Far From Home, but that's just because they were overseas. This No Way Home is you're in a whole different universe, Peter. So,
yeah, but it's. I thought I read that this was kind of the wrap up, because most of the Marvel movies have basically been you have a trilogy, you go to the Avengers movie, and then you're out.
unless you're Thor.
I'm excited to hear it. I wonder if it's really going to be a whole nother Spider-Man, or they're going to just be like Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to be helping out Morbius in some of the other.
They said it's going to be a whole other trilogy. So this one is the home trilogy. So maybe the next one is Peter Parker goes to college. It could be a whole wide open thing, but it's definitely going to be Tom Holland set in the MCU.
I mean, again, I don't have any problem watching more of these Spider-Man movies. They've been competent, to say the least. So if you guys are, hey, I give Sony credit. They're not stupid enough to say, hey, we need to have another renegotiation on our money. It's like, no, we kind of enjoy that money after we saw Venom wasn't as great as we thought. So yeah, good call.
Yeah. Chief, you excited about this news? Another Spider-Man Tom Holland trilogy coming?
You know what? I am happy that if they're going to make more Spider-Mans, they're going to use the Sam Neill Spider-Man.
Right.
You know what I
The next
mean?
one, he'll be the longest tenured Spider-Man.
Right.
I guess he already is though, because of the Avenger films.
Well, but yeah, that's true. But I'm saying, like, I had like Andrew Garfield. Toby kind of aged out, right? That's by the time they finished that, but Andrew Garfield was still in the mix, and then they switched to Tom Holland, which upset me at first. I was like, yo, what are we doing here? We got Tom. He's been rocking with quite a few movies here and there. He's good. He's a great Spider-Man. And then if they're going to continue it, they're saying, hey, Tom, you're a guy. And I'm fine with that. I just don't want, Bob Sanders is now going to be the new Spider-Man. And then we've got to go through origin story, blah, blah, blah. New Stacy, new Mary Jane, new Aunt May,
Ow! This spider just bit me.
Right. I can't do all that again, bro. You know what I mean? At this point in time, man, and then really they got to get him all they can get out of him, because he's in a few years he's gonna age out.
He's actually the perfect age to play Spider-Man, because he's still young enough to be high school Peter Parker, and then they can go to college era Peter, and then they could introduce maybe a guy that he teams up with, his sort of best friend, superhero best friend, Human Torch, who will be coming with the Fantastic Four. So that could work. Lots of possibilities.
Yeah, but 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they'll try to do like a Bad Boys thing. You know what I mean? We watched Bad Boys in 95, 96, and then they started a new franchise in 2010. Martin and Will came back looking old as hell.
That wasn't 2010, yo.
That was 2020.
No, Bad Boys, from Bad Boys 1 to Bad Boys 2?
That was 2003, right?
That was definitely.
Was it that young? I thought it was longer than that. I thought it was like a 10-year gap.
It was a gap, but let me check, cause
what, from the Bad Boys to the last one to the new one?
No, Bad Boys 1 to Bad Boys 2.
2003.
It was like an 8-year gap, 9-year gap, something like that.
Yeah, the first one was 95, the second was 2003, and then Bad Boys for Life was 2020.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm like, as long as I don't want to see Tom Holland being used like that.
No, they like their money at Sony, and
it's not a Superman movie. Calm down. They know what you're doing.
Don't get me started.
Listen,
please don't
get me started.
Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, fellas, it is that magical time of the week. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? Jace, who you got?
Oh man, my dummy of the week is one Mr. Dana White. Dana White has been a person says, COVID hasn't been a thing. I'm going to have my monster island full of UFC fighters. And now, after going to Thanksgiving dinner at the in-laws, hanging out, he actually got COVID. How does that happen? He didn't actually figure it out until he couldn't smell anything. So then he's like, but don't worry, folks. He did talk to his good friend Joe Rogan, and they're going to come up with a cure right now. So, right now, just waiting for it to happen. Mr. Dana White is my dummy of the week.
Problem solved. Hopefully, he does not have the COVID toe like Aaron Rodgers. All right, my nominee in football as well, or out of football, is one Robert Griffin III, or RG3, who is penning an explosive behind-the-scenes look at his tenure in Washington as a member of the former Washington Redskins. The book is titled Surviving Washington, because he went through so much trauma as the star quarterback who was catered to by everyone, including the owner, and then everything went tumbling down. So you can pre-order Surviving Washington just in time for the holidays for all of your Christmas shopping needs. So there you go. Chief, who's your nominee?
I'm gonna go sports too, man. Just off the top of my head, I didn't bring one in, but when you said dummy, the nominees, it's the Giants organization, man. We fire. I see y'all laughing already. We fire the offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, and then we bring in Freddie Kitchens, who with the new look offense scores 13 points.
And y'all still won.
Right. Was 69, was 699, still 699. So then on top of that, they have a guy named Nate Soldier on the offensive line. He is used to be a left tackle, I think, back in New England, back when 10 years ago or whatever. And this dude is just olaying. And when I say olaying, I mean olay. And I'm thinking, yo, there's no one on the team in this organization better than an Olay? You can't, there's no one who is that bad where they may get defeated, but it might be like 1 second, one Mississippi, and then they're defeated. Rather than Olay. So, and I'm watching these games, man, and Nate Soldier is in this joint just, he's on skates. They're just pushing this man out the way, and we're paying him. I mean, if you gave me Nate's salary, I would never work again for this year. You know what I mean?
You said for this year in December.
Yeah, this year. I'm just saying, this football year. If you gave me a salary, I'd be good for life. Next time you saw me on Lyles podcast, Movie Files podcast, you see me. I'd be drinking a great bottle of Grey Poupon here. Good evening, gentlemen. So, and I just can't figure out why these things are happening to this organization. They're finally talking about firing Gettleman. It's just, it's the only sport I watch, man. And this is why it irritates me. It's the only sport I watch. And they just can't get right, man. No, it's like, I don't know what the hell they're doing anymore. I don't know if they know what the hell they're doing anymore.
They definitely don't.
Yeah. So so we got our 13 points. We beat the mighty Philadelphia Eagles. And we will go against the Miami Dolphins next week, and we'll see if we can score another 10 to 13 points.
There you go. Let's aim for 14.
You're aiming too high, buddy. let's bring it down a little bit.
Take it down a notch. All right, we'll do.
Yeah.
All right, Jay King, who's your nominee?
To continue what we started last week, it's me again. Falling into the fast food doldrums, man. We got 3 girls. You kind of have to feed them. You feed them quick. So what do? You ask them what do they want. They want pizzas. So what do? You go to Pizza Hut and get a dresser full of pizza. That they got that thing again. You know what I'm talking about, Jay. You're laughing like hell. It's a nightstand of pizza. So it's like 3 drawers of just terrible pizza, man. Because you're not supposed to eat that kind of food after you turn 40. Stamp it. Don't do it. You're not 20. You're not 15. Remember the time you could eat a large pizza and go play full-court basketball? No, you can't do that no more. You're 40. That's it. Done. So that's my dummy, me.
All right. Well, I mean, there's nothing else to say outside of cleanup on aisle 1. Fellas, thank you as always for rolling with me. Thank you guys out there for listening and watching. This episode of Lyles Movie Files has been filed.